Today I learned that Mamoru Samuragochi is a deaf Japanese composer, who known as the Digital Age Beethoven and creator of Onimusha OST, but it later turned out that all of his works in 18 years were actually written by a ghost writer and his deafness is all fake. Today I learned that George Washington borrowed the Law of Nations from the New York Society Library and didn't return it. Mount Vernon Estate returned the book in 2010, 221 years overdue, after the head librarian joked they were not actively pursuing the overdue fines, they would appreciate having it back. Today I learned that when buttons were invented in the 13th century, wealthy women did not dress themselves, their lady maid did. As most people are right-handed, it was easier for maids to fasten with the buttons on the left, and that's why men's and women's buttons are on opposite sides. Today I learned that there is a polar bear jail in Canada that houses incarcerated polar bears that are guilty of being nuisance. Today I learned of the Mary Celeste, an American merchant ship, found adrift by the Dei Gratia, intact and crew missing, in the Atlantic off the Azores in 1872, a month after leaving port. Though amply supplied and personal belongings intact, there was no sign of where or why they left. The crew was never found. Today I learned that a waitress was tipped a lottery ticket and won $10 million. She was then sued by her colleagues for their share. Then she was sued by the man who tipped her the ticket. Then she was kidnapped by her ex-husband and shot him in the chest. Then she went to court against the IRS. Today I learned that in Alaska, plants can grow freakishly large due to the 20 hours of sunshine they receive per day, which gives them a photosynthesis bonus. Examples include 138 pounds cabbage, 65 pounds cantaloupe, and 35 pounds broccoli. A noted side effect is that the produce is also much sweeter due to the extra sunlight. Today I learned that Getty Images, a company infamous for sending threatening letters requesting payment when their photos are used without permission, was sued for more than $1 billion in damages when they mistakenly demanded a settlement payment from a photographer for her own work. Today I learned that certain ant species commit suicide to protect their territory. As stinging wasn't effective against some predators, they evolved the ability to self-sacrifice to kill one or more enemies. They wrap themselves around an opponent and explodes, releasing sticky corrosive material killing both. Today I learned that when cocaine and ethanol drinking alcohol are consumed simultaneously, a new compound, cosethylene, is formed in the blood, which is even more pleasurable, longer lasting, and more dangerous than cocaine or alcohol alone. Today I learned that during China Ming Dynasty, powdered smallpox scabs were blown up the noses of the healthy. The patients would then develop a mild case of the disease, and from then on were immune to it. Although the technique had a 0.5% mortality rate, it was better than the disease's 20% mortality rate. Adam and Eve weren't alone in paradise. According to some Jewish lore, with them were Lilith and Samael. Lilith was created alongside Adam, not from him to be his wife, while Samael was the one who commanded the snake to tempt Eve, and is actually the true father of Cain. Today I learned that the first female American astronaut Sally Ride was a respected astrophysicist and a top athlete. However, before her flight, she fielded questions such as, will the flight affect your reproductive organs? Do you weep when things go wrong? And will you become a mother? From the US media. Today I learned that scientists attached stilts to the legs of ants to prove that they return to their nests by counting their steps. The regular ants walked right to the nest and went inside. The ants on stilts walked right past the nest and got lost. This was because of the change in length of the legs. Today I learned about Japan's 5 p.m. bell, or National Emergency Broadcast System, that plays music each day at a specific time for over 90% of the country. The music is actually a daily test to ensure the system can inform residents of any major disasters, for instance tsunami, or industrial accident. Today I learned that bees can produce colored honey. Beekeepers in northeastern France noticed that their bees were producing honey in unnatural shades of green and blue. The reason turned out to be that the bees had been eating remnants of M&M candy shells from a nearby factory. Today I learned of the Bohemian Grove, a restricted 2,700-acre campground in California that is only available for the world's elite. It is described as a private vacation getaway, yet it is famous for hosting the Manhattan Project planning meeting in 1942 that led to the creation of the atomic bomb. Today I learned that for several years, the CIA paid sex workers to bring men back to a safe house brothel so they could secretly dose them with LSD and watch what happened through a two-way mirror, in an effort to find the mind-control drug. I learned today that starting this May, the Netherlands will no longer refer to itself as Holland in international events, seeking to draw tourists to lesser visited areas as well as to de-emphasize drug use and prostitution. Today I learned that trees are able to communicate with other trees through chemical, hormonal and slow-pulsing electrical signals, and can communicate through the air with pheromones and other scents. They will also help other struggling trees by sending them nutrients through their roots. Today I learned that Dr. Phil lost his license to practice psychology in 2006. Therefore, all guests on his TV show must sign a contract stating they are only there to receive advice from an individual, not a psychologist. Today I learned that a New York deaf man sued Pornhub for not providing closed captioning to all of their videos, despite Pornhub's vice president asserting that they do have a closed captions video section. The man's lawsuit specifically cites hot step and babysits disobedient nephew as a video that lacked closed captions. Today I learned that a man decided to deposit a check that he received from a junk mail ad just to see what would happen. To his surprise, they allowed him to deposit the $95,000 check. The bank tried to take the money back, but since he didn't break any laws, there was nothing they could do.